After the abysmal spunk bomb that was Batman vs Superman, DC fans looked towards Suicide Squad with the same amount of desperation as a pregnant Catholic would show a coat hanger, with Marvel frankly humiliating DC in terms of live action and the last DC film worthy of mention fading from memory. Suicide Squad needed to be better than fucking a vacuum with severed tongues glued to it. After the death of Superman in Dawn of Justice, highly ranked government official Amanda Waller fears that if another Kryptonian comes to Earth they may not be as friendly as Superman, and may want to make the human race join the dodo and Paris Hilton's career in the extinct department. She then convinces her peers to approve of her Task Force X program, which is a team made up of dangerous criminals including Black Crossbones, that bitch from Lollipop Chainsaw, a bloke who looks like he was recently catapulted through a magic marker factory, a stereotypical Australian, and Godzilla's left testicle to stop a potential evil Superman from making humanity its bitch. Oh, and there's also a dude who's good at climbing shit, but he was in the movie for less than 2 minutes and therefore not worth me animating, so fuck him. Joining them are control chips embedded in each member of the task force, later dubbed as Suicide Squad, that can be remotely detonated in case any of them step out of line. Accompanying them is Waller's lapdog, his bodyguard, and Samara Morgan's older sister, who goes rogue almost immediately, then resurrects her brother so they can build a weapon that could make them ejaculate all over humanity's existence. So it's up to the Suicide Squad to provide the splash screen. Firstly, yes, it's better than Batman vs Superman, but the line between them is the difference between being punched in the cock and kicked in the cunt. The film feels like it had its jizz sacks chopped off in the editing room. Anything you'd expect from a medley of villains mixed together like anarchy, hardcore violence, and language that could make a nun's tits melt off simply isn't there. Fuck, for some reason this film is rated 15 by the British Board of Film Classification, and whoever decided that owns a crotch that's populated by the same amount of balls as a porn set directed by Ellen DeGeneres. The quality of filmmaking is roughly the same as you'd expect from an alcohol-fueled snuff video. The origin stories go on for far too fucking long, one of which we are shown twice. Not from someone else's perspective or a continuation of a previously established narrative. Fuck no, the movie is way too fucking basic for that. It's literally the exact same footage you saw half an hour ago, making the second viewing grind on me harder than a coke addict's teeth. Of course, flaws are everywhere. I would be here from now until the end of time explaining things like my theory about Harlequin's vagina doubling up as a Pez dispenser for bullets, because there was nothing on her person suggesting to be a storage facility for her endless supply of ammunition. But my personal favourite was after the Joker, oh, and don't you fucking worry, there'll be plenty more on this middle finger to the fans later, disables Harlequin's control chip. He then attempts to rescue his beloved, and during her escape, Flag is ordered to kill the bitch. But he can't because he announces the detonator has failed as he beats the remote with one hand, and forgets that in the other he, and many of his men standing right by her, are each holding huge fuck-off machine guns capable of making her look like a rapist's first sex doll. With the exception of Will Smith, Viola Davis, and occasionally Margot Robbie, the acting is exactly what you'd think it would be from a B-list cast playing C and D-list DC villains. And I spent a lot of time thinking if the awful chemistry between them was a deliberate act to give the situation of a group made up of total strangers having to work together to achieve a common goal for the sake of their own personal benefits a more real and on-the-nose feel, or was it just another piece of debris contributing to this shitstorm? Fine, there's no fucking point delaying this any further. Of course, Heath Ledger's near-perfect performance of the Joker in A Dark Knight would be practically impossible to better, maybe even by Ledger himself if he was able to reprise the role. But whoever follows would surely know that going in and be fully prepared to receive negative critique better than your mom receives endless abortion requests. With that said, Jared Leto's Joker is by far the fucking worst incarnation of the character to have ever existed in terms of the everything. Remember all that bullshit hype about how weird he was being on and off set to get in the mindset of the part? Fucking pointless, because in the end he is in the movie for less than 15 short yet agonising minutes. Yes, I know there's a shitload of deleted Joker scenes, and thank fuck for that. Who knows, the editor may have realised how shit he was and decided to do us all a fucking favour, because Leto's performance was at best suitable for a low budget and shitty cosplay porn movie. There's no presence, the dialogue is a mess, and his body language looked forced and uncomfortable. It's almost like he and Jesse Eisenberg are having a pissing contest all over the legacy of DC's bad guys. All that aside, the character itself isn't Joker-like at all. He isn't scary, bizarre, or even interesting. He is like that guy, you know the one. The guy who goes to a cosplay party as someone they aren't even slightly similar to and naturally fails miserably at any attempt to adopt the mannerisms, and appear to be so distant from the character the whole time and do shit like lying down in a circle made of weapons. Does this version of the Joker, a crime lord and the leader of a very potent gang in Gotham, have so little to do in his occupation that he spends his afternoons giggling and rolling around in his cutlery just before adding to his collection of shit and unnecessary tattoos? Also, why the fuck is the Joker texting? It just seems like something he wouldn't do, and it's certainly a lazy method of threatening people for a man of his stature. Surely there are more intimidating ways to tell people they're going to get the shit fucked out of them instead of the person who received the message thinking, oh god, the Joker just sent me a rather fierce looking emoji. I'd better get the fuck out of here before he stops leaving kisses at the end of every text. I get he has to keep up with the times, but I just fear that this could be taken too far, like spending most of his time in the sequel wandering around the streets of Gotham looking for fucking Pokemon. So yes, it's better than Batman vs Superman, but that's only because it aims lower. And I know that everyone wanted it to be the DC equivalent of what would happen if each member of the Avengers had a similar personality to Deadpool, but what we actually got was a rectal exam by ways of a jackhammer that's replaced its strap strap on with an AIDS-infested cactus.